what are some mistakes you still see people doing? Obviously, if they're new and don't know certain things, that's fine. But when you got prestige level players committing basic mistakes, it can irk a bit. Yeah. I mean, dude, I won't like try to harp on anything we talk about too often here. But yeah, when it comes to prestige players and doing the little things, sometimes they can come up short. Whether it's like, clearing immortal wounds or picking up stims in general, that sort of thing can definitely, it doesn't irk me, to be completely honest. Recently, I've really enjoyed the balance of the game overall. Once you get like a prestige 4, marine, and you have a weapon that you like, and now the additional options you have with certain weapon variants, you can definitely find some really good stuff to play around with. And I think now that the difficulty has been enhanced in the game, overall, the balance is fine. However, yes, there are definitely still a lot of mistakes I see myself doing as well. Plenty of times I still go for parries when I see the orange circle, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's probably the muscle memory. Whenever I hear the sound, I just immediately go for the parry, like every time. Mine would be during the Inferno operation at the end. I still see people messing up the fire traps by not waiting to see where the initial swarm is coming from and just immediately pressing the control panel. PSA, you can only have one side active at a time. I mean, that's interesting. Yeah, from an operation perspective, I imagine there's probably still people messing up certain aspects of the technical side of some of these operations. In any case, I never really like paid attention to that to the point where I even knew like that. Even whatever I saw, honestly, I don't think I missed any. I only pressed the button if I see Tyranids, so at least that's good, I guess. But overall, when it comes to that last part in Inferno, even though I do like the fact that we have traps, I do find traps, like kind of interactive traps, are fun, I guess. I still would rather take out all the Tyranids possible, but at that last part in Inferno, now there can be a Terminus enemy. Yeah, take advantage of whatever you can. But yeah, dude, that last part of Inferno really spiced up with that new Terminus enemy. It feels really, really fun. But yeah, we're going to dive into some mistakes people are still doing here. I imagine we're going to see things that we talk about, but I'm hoping to see some unique things that perhaps we still don't know what we're doing. I will admit, I do love saying this little tidbit whenever I can, the how to keep track of your players, your teammates' armor. Yeah, you just gotta look at the icon, and if it's golden, that means they have armor. If they don't have any gold elements on their icon and it's just the black square, that means no armor. That means let them execute. Dude, every time when I say this in a video, there's probably like at least 1 or 2 people who are like, wow, I did not know that. And to be honest, that one, that's definitely a mistake I was doing for hundreds of hours. And then, yes, now that I notice it, it is insane how big of a deal it can be to just be like, let somebody take an execution just for armor. It can seriously save you on the next encounter, so that's always good to keep in mind. But yeah, when it comes to mistakes I'm still doing, yeah, I still try to parry orange attacks. But hey, you know what? I have been playing the Assault class a lot recently, so I have been able to get used to perfect dodging, so that's good. Not so much of a mistake, but I'm shocked that almost a year after release, people are still struggling to comprehend the Fall of Atreus track stage. Okay, so this one, yep, I'm very happy I saw somebody talk about this. I feel like this one is unique in the sense that they are new if they don't understand this. But yeah, I mean, dude, to be completely honest, it did take me a few runs to go through Fall of Atreus to actually get a hold of this. So now I can just do this if people aren't able to do this. But yeah, normally, yeah, just for any case, if you don't know how to do the Fall of Atreus thing, make sure you guide the train, or the cart, I guess. The TV sides with the 4 monitors, that is the back side of that thing. So it's like a giant battery. So you go for the glowy parts. That's the best I can describe it. And like turn the things in the right way, I guess. But yeah, not the Fall of Atreus one is definitely what I still see. That's funny. Dude, Fall of Atreus, I have to say, I really like this operation. I honestly like Fall of Atreus and Obelisk. It's just when you are playing with new players on those operations, it can definitely feel like the pacing is a little bit crazy. Like Fall of Atreus with players that have been playing the game is already pretty long, like 25 minutes sometimes, depending. Absolute chaos, it can be like that. Fall of Atreus with new players in Absolute, oh boy, yep, you can go in an operation for like 45 minutes, maybe 50 minutes for a Fall of Atreus. I've never hit an hour for an operation, I believe, but like I've been definitely on the way of 50 minutes for sure. Dude, I swear, if I seen an hour for an operation, I'm pretty sure I'd notice, but overall, yeah, I don't think I've been in an operation for over an hour. What do you not understand about spinning a fusion battery in the correct direction and standing next to it so it can move? It is pretty easy to learn. That's true. That's true. I feel like a lot of people, if they are kind of if they have a mistake as far as Fall of Atreus track correction or anything like that, I do think a lot of that is just from the enemies. It could be chaos enemies, and then you also have to keep track of this puzzle. Sometimes people are just like, you know what, we will do the puzzle when everything's dead, and sometimes you just have somebody do the puzzle while everything's going to get destroyed, so that always works out. Trying to gunstrike while being surrounded by 10 melee warriors in siege mode. Okay, so of course we have seen the ones where it's like team perk, mortal wound. Yeah, you name it. Yes, of course people have mentioned not picking up stims, everything like that. This one, this is the hard truth of the matter here, because 100% I do this as well. Dude, I don't care. I'm going to do the gun strike because if I get hit and if I don't die, I can just get the contested health from the executionable enemy. Where this starts to backfire hard is when you get knocked down. So the enemy you gun strike who's executionable, it doesn't even matter because your contested health might be fading away. So in that case, you're getting chip damage. In siege mode, if you do this enough times, you can potentially go down even if you get the execution. So yeah, this is definitely the hard truth. And dude, to be completely honest, gun strikes, especially with the Inferno pistol, I just like the fact that they can do splash damage now. So I'll send it. 10 melee warriors. Yeah, I'll send it. It really depends though. It really depends. Most of the times you can kind of get them all in a row and then you can just you'll be able to stun everybody, but it really depends. I just had to vote to kick somebody because they wouldn't get out of alignment circles on Obelisk. This was on Ruthless and they were Prestige 1. Oh my gosh, dude. This is another hard truth for sure. I know how to do the Obelisk circles for sure, but the amount of people, I haven't kicked anybody for this, but the amount of people I've almost had to go on the mic and just be like, look, we need to make sure that we aren't together in the circle. Most of the times they get it pretty quick, but there has been players, even if you go on the mic and say it, it just does not click. But yeah, honestly, overall, I would rather get on the mic to go around a bug. We actually done that recently for the sniper video. That was definitely wild. Somebody spawned in outside of the doors at the end of decapitation. We had to kick them, re-invite them in so they would teleport inside the doors. It worked. That was great. Obelisk, yeah, sometimes people just don't understand this one. Dude, I like it though. I like Obelisk. I don't understand why people don't like okay, you know what? No, I do understand why people don't like Obelisk, especially for reasons like this, but Obelisk was a fun one to solo for a bit. Carrying the chalice is kind of cool. It's kind of cool because it heals you. So I'll take that. But yeah, I get it. Fighting chaos, and not to mention snipers. Chaos snipers are so much more dangerous than Obelisk, dude. Obelisk snipers are just different. In the tomb specifically because they can hide in the back. Yeah, it can be a pain for sure. But yeah, the alignment circle, Prestige 1. Did it say what level? I mean, dude, honestly, for Prestige 1, dude, you really could just play the first mission in this game and just get the Prestige 4 level 25. Sheesh. Yeah, that's a hard one to swallow for sure. Oh boy, not playing as a team, not leaving executions for contested health for teammates or armor, throwing grenades near melee classes, not picking up meltas, not knowing how to melee correctly, not having situational awareness, not shooting extremist that has grabbed a teammate. This one is the most tilting because sometimes you just don't know if they see it or not. But yeah, for the most part, sometimes you will see the teammates who just watch someone get grabbed. And I get it. Sometimes there's a lot on the screen, but you gotta keep an eye out or ear out for those sound cues specifically, because the grab attacks, I believe they have specific yells, and the list goes on and on. Yeah, this is interesting. There's a lot of people who are just, it is pretty funny. These really are the mistakes that we are still making, even though we have hundreds of hours of games. Some of these that I recognize that I'm doing. But dude, throwing grenades near melee classes, I'll gamble with this one. I'll gamble. It really depends how weak I think the enemies around you are. If I think the enemies around you are just literally a grenade away from just having 5 or 4 enemies in executionable state, I'll throw the grenade. But if you're surrounded by a whole bunch of enemies that just spawned in, Unless I have a Melta, I don't think I'm throwing a grenade. Or a shock grenade, I think, would actually be kind of helpful. I mean, if anything, if you throw a grenade to your teammates, a shock grenade's the most helpful, I would think, right? But yeah, I like this. This is fun because yeah, some of the stuff, it's like, it's kind of funny that I end up doing some of this stuff. I mean, yeah, I've definitely maybe took an execution I shouldn't have before in the past or something. Sometimes without context, though, it can look worse than it is. Like sometimes there's somebody on my team who like I don't show die as often as they did, and it's like sometimes if I go for an execution, if it's an extremist, it's because yeah, I'm getting greedy ultimately. So maybe for the most part, don't get me wrong, of course I let people on my teammates of course I let people on my team get like executions and everything. That's crazy. But hey, recently I've been using a lot of focused restoration, so that hasn't really been an issue. Not picking up Meltas, I mean, dude, not picking up Meltas, I think that's an interesting one. I feel like that is an interesting one to point out as a mistake, but I think what they're referring to here is secure stockpile, maybe, because yeah, I can see that being a huge mistake. Yeah, this is actually one that's probably creeped up recently for patch 9, is just people not recognizing secure stockpile and how absolutely clutch it can be to just have a last minute Melta to put down, especially in Absolute 2.0. I would say that's like a strict hard siege mode Absolute 2.0 strategy. And the fact that, you know what, since we're talking about the strategy, the fact that it's like effective in lower difficulties is fine, because ultimately there's going to be it's going to be easier to just, you know, blow up things in lower difficulties. So I don't see secure stockpile being that damaging to the game, to be completely honest, at all. To be like, dude, with siege mode and hard siege mode, it's really hard to justify a nerf at all at the point that we're at now. I think everything's really balanced. Yeah, I can understand where Melta spam can get a little bit crazy also if you're like playing sniper with pattern of excellence, and you can get like a Melta whenever you want, essentially. But still, you can also get completely, if you go for a bad Melta, you'll just get comboed off. It does take a bit to put on a Melta. Like, honestly, you really have to find the moment for it in the higher difficulties. But yeah, still, I think if somebody seriously looks at like a unique grenade and doesn't pick it up, they probably just have a better one, or they're more comfortable with playing like the crack grenades or the shock grenades. But yeah, this is having situational awareness. Some of the stuff is kind of like hard to judge here. But yeah, also the extremist grab. Yeah, that's probably the biggest mistake people are still making. But like that, I feel like there's mistakes that veterans are making, and then there's mistakes that new players are making, and the mistakes are just way too different. Like I'll try to find one. I'll try to find a mistake that veterans are still making. But yeah, some of these kind of bleed together for sure. People not pairing non-prompted minors at all, free armor pips, becoming Sonic and thinking they could just roll away from everything. No, they will always catch up. Yeah, it really depends, but what I try to do is at least play around corners if I'm just going to continuously roll around. Not advancing fast enough, elevators, doors, and going through certain map sections will just despawn waves or extremist spawns. Why waste and risk HP and resources by trying to kill everything? In general, people claiming they have knowledge over their own class is not good enough. You need to understand capabilities of your teammates as well. Bulwark can't heal you if you execute everything in sight like a maniac. Keep enemies off of sniper so you can absolutely safely solo that Neurothrope in seconds. Ooh, okay, yep, this is good call as a sniper player. I mean, dude, honestly, sometimes this is just as hard to identify as, you know, grabs and stuff, but still, you can see Prestige 4 players forget that, you know, you can break enemies out of, you know, you can break teammates out of enemy grabs and stuff. I mean, I wouldn't say forget. I think sometimes they just don't really recognize it. You plinking away at it with bolt pistol is not helping. That assault can very much one-shot Majorus. Wait, okay, you know what, on a second note, actually, there are ways you can identify this, because you just look at the Neurothrope's health bar. If it's not going down quick enough, hey, where's the sniper? Oh, the sniper is surrounded. Go after the sniper. Nah, this is interesting, because you have to identify the situation. You don't really so much to keep track of what the sniper's doing until the situation is there. So if you see the situation where it's like the sniper isn't attacking the Neurothrope, you know something's up. You know what I mean? You plicking away at it with bolt pistols not helping. That assault can very much one-shot Majorus with power fists in front of him. Why are you not shooting at something else, and so on? I like that idea. I wonder if there's other examples of that, to be completely honest. But yeah, I have seen a few people saying stop standing in front of heavy. So I had a hard time justifying that as a veteran mistake people are still making. But this is actually still like overall mistakes everyone is probably making here or there. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have any good ones that we haven't mentioned here. I feel like this is, we try to look for unique mistakes here, 100%. But of course, people have mentioned not picking team perks and, you know, the deal with the other stuff we talk about. But this one is definitely stuff I feel like is kind of harder to keep track of. But it's definitely still stuff I see on a daily basis, probably. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you guys have any good ones, good mistakes that we haven't talked about, or maybe that you've seen recently that are relatively new, or anything of the like. Yeah, let me know in the comments how you guys feel about this, and thanks for watching.